Hi. So I'm gonna talk about Amber's appearance first. First Lolcow Live, Lolcow Bus, whatever the fuck you want to call it, show. So I watched it live. I didn't watch the live. I watched a stream snipe of the live, but I did watch the whole thing in real time, and I have some thoughts. It's first of all, my first thought annoying. And so I'm not really going to be including any clips, if even any. I'm just going to be talking about it. So go watch it, and then if you don't know anything about it, or just trust in what I have to say, I guess. But it was super annoying. Amber was super annoying. Sweet Tea was super annoying. Scooter was super annoying. Ass. That's all I have to say. Okay. Next, I want to talk about whether or not this was rehearsed or scripted or whatever. In my opinion, yeah, obviously they were definitely playing it up, and especially Scooter, like his quote unquote crash out on Zay was so obviously like not genuine, and like Amber was obviously playing. I don't know. I honestly don't know if the whole can we ban these people who say I'm a animal, you know what? Like at first I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fake." But then as it went on, I was cuz she was like, "Oh, so you'll ban people for emotes but not for calling me you know what?" And I'm just like, "So is it a bit like is she like does she real did she really think they would ban people?" I don't know. That seems ridiculous to me. Why would she think that they would allow like that should be an obvious thing that she cannot dictate, right? Like they're not going to ban people who just say things about her that are based on evidence. Because she is a neglectful pet owner, okay? Her whole fucking, she was like, wouldn't you guys bring your pets on holiday? Okay, she didn't say holiday, obviously, but wouldn't you guys bring your pets on vacation? First of all, let's talk about. You want to talk about Rarity? Okay, let's talk about motherfucking Rarity. Who who's the one who got Rarity spayed? Hmm? Because it sure as hell wasn't you, Amber. Sure as hell wasn't you. You knew that Rarity liked to explore, right? You admitted that. That's why we know that Rarity likes to explore because you told us Rarity likes to explore. Why would you not take any extra precautions when traveling with Rarity? Hmm? Such as a microchip that is pretty standard for most pet owners to have, but especially if they're going to be traveling with their pets. A collar could have helped. Or, you not being morbidly obese so that you could go out and look for yourself instead of having to depend on your partner to do everything for you. Hmm? Right? The co-hosts were like, "Oh yeah, of course I bring my pet. Of course I would." Yeah, well, you guys aren't basically bedbound. Okay, I know she says she's not bedbound. She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm thankfully not bedbound anymore." Oh, that was in my past. We know she cannot stand for more than a minute. I mean, she can't. She literally went to the. She literally spent a day doing chores in her house and ended up in the hospital. Okay, that's what she said. So okay, don't come at me and say I'm fucking fat phobic. No, I'm not being fat phobic. You were not taking the precautions you needed to, okay? You knew that you would not be able to adequately look for Rarity. That's fine. So then microchip Rarity so that when somebody else finds her, they can bring her back to you. But guess what? That's never going to happen. She says, I don't remember if it was on this live or if she said it on a different live, that like Emily still has cameras set up in case Rarity somehow comes walking back. Girl, Rarity doesn't know where the fuck she is. Are you an idiot? Why would she run back to Emily's house? She doesn't know where she is. Are you an idiot? Yes, you must be. Okay. Also, like, it's just stupid. It's stupid because, like, look at, like, you guys look at her. Also, she says, I take better care of my pets than I do myself. Yeah, well, that's not really saying much. You don't, like, look at you. Hello. Because the thing is that she leaves out, right? She leaves out those important details. She doesn't say, oh, there were also other animals in the house. It wasn't just my animals. There were also Emily's animals in the house. And so they were not just in a new environment, they were in a new environment with other animals, right? So, which is then even more stressful, so on and so forth, So, yeah, then, I fucking hate this talking point of like, oh, well, let's just have Amber let's have Amber speak for herself and then we'll be able to judge her character and whether or not she actually did all those things that they said she did. Well, guess what, buddy? They said Ted Bundy was a charming person too. That doesn't mean he wasn't a serial killer. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. I don't give a fuck if Amber seems like a nice person. I don't care. That doesn't mean she can't do bad things. Hello. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is the cancer thing because I I I don't understand. Like, Amber, just say that it was Nikocado who didn't believe you and move on. Okay? Do not act like most reaction channels and haters. Don't act like most of Girl World thought you were lying and faking cancer. Okay? That's not true. Most people supported you. But then once you didn't go to any follow-up appointments because again, you did fucking, vlogs, weekly vlogs. Do you not remember that, Amber? You did. You did. Okay. And also live streams at some point, So again, because cancer, like post cancer, like once you're done with cancer, you need to do follow-up appointments for years afterwards. Okay. Years. So it's not just like, oh, the first couple months and then, or the first year. Like she would still be having follow-up appointment, or she would have had follow-up appointments, should have had follow-up appointments like this year or next year for 5 years, I'm pretty sure. But she didn't. She just had her uterus taken out and then they biopsied it, told her it was cancer. And then she maybe went to one or two follow-up appointments, but that's it. She declared herself cancer-free. For all she knows, she could still have cancer. That's, in my opinion. This is what I'll say about the cancer stuff. It doesn't really matter whether or not she actually had cancer because she never properly treated her cancer. And that's the problem that people have, is that she cries about having cancer, but then doesn't do her due diligence to, she admitted herself that she developed uterine cancer because of her obesity. She knows that. And yet, here she is, 5-ish years later, same size. Same size. So, this is just a little point I want to talk about. I don't know if it's anything, but there was one point, she only mentions it once, okay? And I don't really know what noise was made, but she goes, "Was there a ghost?" And like, this is what I don't really understand about Amber. We know she has animals. We know she has pets. So if we hear things like getting pushed or knocked over or whatever, like most people would just assume that's her pets, unless it was like something that a human would have to do, like opening a door, or but that's not even true because it could be the sound of like the animal closing the door that was already partially open or whatever. So, like, unless it's like, when Feline changed the battery of the smoke detector, obviously that wasn't her animals. And that obviously wasn't a ghost. But if it's just like things moving in the background, why would she say, is that a ghost? Girl, obviously it would be your pets, right? Except she only really says, is there a ghost? When there's somebody like there with her who she doesn't want the people watching to know is with her, right? I could be wrong about that, but I just found it odd that she mentioned that because, like, what? Obviously, there's not a ghost, first of all. Second of all, girl, just you don't have to explain every single noise in the background. Like, what? She lives in an apartment building, also. So, it could be other people who she lives next to. Anyways, also, who was calling her? Like, was it Emily? Do we think? I really don't know. Like, I don't know if that was staged also for her to be like, see, guys, they just harass me. They're harassers. But I don't know. I don't really, it was, I don't really know who. I don't know who was calling her, but she was making too much of a deal about it. Also, she obviously thinks Zay is hot because when Sweet Tea was like, oh, I don't even really think Zay is that cute. Like, I think she looks like a skeleton. Amber literally looked shocked. She was like, oh, what? So yeah, she obviously thinks Zay is hot, and so that's obviously why that's why she hates Zay so much. It's because she's jealous. And also Zay doesn't like her. And so when a hot girl doesn't like her, that really grinds Amber's gears, in my opinion. Okay, this is something that I like. Just these co-hosts, Sweet Tea and Scooter. I don't give a fuck. Y'all are dumb, and y'all are pussies and have no spine. That's all I have to say on that. But Amber said herself on Lolcow Live that she never lied on her channel. All she did was tell the truth. But then, now, on Lolcow Live, a little bit later, she says that she admitted that she did lie about setting timers for Beck. She lied about that to, quote, make people like her. Oh, okay. So that's convenient, Amber. That's real fucking convenient. Like, are we serious right now? Is that really all the pushing we're gonna get? Because also, Scooter said, "Oh, well, I did see a clip of you saying you set a timer, though." After she said, I never set a timer, guys. You guys, I never set a timer." But then Scooter's like, "Oh, well, I did see a clip of you saying you did set a timer." So were you just trolling then? Right? And that's not, Scooter, that's a leading question. Okay, that's not how you interview people. You just say, "Oh, well, so I saw a clip of you saying the opposite though. So then what do you have to say about that?" Don't say, "Oh, so then were you trolling?" Because then obviously she's going to say, "Oh yeah, I was just trolling." Girl, that's not a troll. That is not, how is that a troll? Hmm? Tell me. Do you guys know what trolling is? Clearly not. Because in that clip, she was supposedly having a sincere conversation with her audience to admit her wrongdoings and her faults. Okay, so it shouldn't have been a troll. And also, Amber, even if you were lying to make people like you, that's still a lie. And even if you were lying about doing something bad, that's still a lie. You're still lying. So, yeah. I don't I don't understand what she I don't understand if she really believes what she's saying or what. I don't know. Also, her co-hosts don't understand that people start off by giving Amber the benefit of the doubt. People start off thinking the same exact things that they're thinking right now. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Amber just, oh, it's all coincidences essentially, Oh, it just also happens that poor little Amber, her poor Amber, her cat runs away, poor Amber, her all of her exes accuse her of being horrible. Poor Amber, she just can't seem to lose weight because she has, rare obesity genes. No, that's not the truth, okay? That's obviously not the truth. Because in reality, Amber just omits important information that makes her look like the bad guy. She doesn't necessarily lie about any of the she doesn't say something that's false in terms of physically she's not saying something that didn't happen, she's not saying the sky is green, but she's also not saying the sky is blue. Do you know what I mean? And so I really don't understand why they think what they think we just see Amber and we're like, oh no, I'm gonna hate on that bitch because she's fat as fuck. No, that's what Amber wants you to think, but that's not the truth. It is not. Um, and we've already heard her story and her side of the story for over a decade. That's all that we've heard, and that's why we know everything we know about her. Why do you think we know so much about her? It's not because we lie about it. It's not because we just make shit up. It's because she says shit. It's what she says. Like, what do you think? What you think? There's a whole ecosystem of people who literally make up, completely fabricate stories about Amber. Please. And honestly, Amber, you need to pipe the fuck down. Also, I don't give a fuck if it was a bit or if Keemstar told you to do it, because girl, people are there to hate on you. That is why they are there. So don't act like you can be like, oh, ban the people who are hating on me, because then nobody's going to watch you. Sorry, Pookie. It's the truth. That's why everybody runs to the reaction channels. It's not because the reaction channels actually take away your audience. If you let people say whatever they wanted on your channel, then you wouldn't have as many people running to the reaction channels. But you blocked everybody. And so they have to watch through the reaction channels. They have no choice. Do you not understand that? You block people, you ban people who, have legitimate questions and whatever. And then, they have no other choice but to get their information via a second source. So that's your fault, Amber, not ours. Keemstar and Amber, okay? Don't forget. Do not fucking forget that the quote detractors are the reason why Amber got her monetization snatched, taken from her. We're the reason, according to Amber, right? But I mean, we are. The reason YouTube finally stepped in is because we said, hey, look, this is against the terms of service. All we did was wave a flag. Okay, we didn't put on the handcuffs or anything. Hello. But yeah. So don't get too much of a fucking ego. Okay? Keemstar, you don't understand that your whole shtick of oh, we're gonna get her 3 cats if you keep doing this. That's not gonna work with us. That's not gonna work over here. So maybe that'll work with your Lolcow people, but it's not gonna work with us. That's not fun to watch. That's not funny. And I can't wait to watch their viewership fall real fucking fast. Thank you for watching. Let me know what y'all thought. I probably honestly won't unless they have somebody like Roxy go on. I'm probably not going to watch even the recaps because I don't really see a point if they're not going to push back on anything she has to say, and we're just going to hear the same talking points, or we're just going to keep hearing her lie and say a different story than what she said before. Like, if your story changes every time, that's a problem, girl. And it is not like, oh, minute little details, or oh, she adds like, no, she completely changes the story and how the events take place. She changes it. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.